With elections for the Mohawk Council of Kahnawà scheduled for the summer of 2018, there are some amendments proposed to the Kahnawake election law. We spoke to Alana Goodleaf-Rice, the Executive Director of the Mohawk Council of Kahnawà, and Technician Trina C, Diabo, to talk about these proposed amendments and what's coming up in the next few weeks.
Okay, so we have a submission to make further amendments to the election law that was made by a group of MCK employees that are part of an electoral working group that assist the electoral officer each election. So they have hands-on on some of the either difficulties or how they can propose changes to assist the electoral officer in a better way. So with that, we already had a mandate in 2015 to separate the procedural parts of the election law and develop the regulations. So this internal working group took on that activity, and while doing so, they came up with other further amendments. There's only a few. Most of it'll appear that the law is going to look very different, but there was formatting changes due to the fact that we took out the procedural parts to develop the regs. So now we had to do some wordsmithing, which are not structural changes. So it's more change of format. We added a preamble, purpose, just to stay in line with the other laws that are being developed through the CDMP process. And so we're going to the community on December 19th. So right now the drafts of the law and the regulations are posted on the KLCC website. And we're asking people during this 30-day feedback review to read it and give us their feedback, and we'll see you on December 19th.
One of the main amendments that we're proposing is to actually establish the specific date for the election, so that it's not, well, the electoral officer will call an election within a certain amount of days from the date of the expiry of the previous term. We felt it makes a lot more sense administratively, operationally, to be able to say the date of an election will be the first Saturday of July every 3 years.
Basically, the way it used to be.
Yeah, but it was never written that way. So the electoral officer had the discretion of changing the date, and that happened last year, the last election. Not that it caused major difficulties, but it did cause some, because there are operational issues that have to be attended to by the outgoing council prior to the incoming council, and schedules of meetings and decisions are all set based on that date.
There was a lot of us working together and schedules conflicting. And with the CDMP process, there's a limit of the amount of laws that can go through at the same time, and then it's scheduling with that process and making sure, as Alana said, we have to really take our time and digest it and do it properly, and that's what we try to do.
As far as I can remember, the electoral officer was always appointed at, say, a community meeting. What we're proposing is that the electoral officer be appointed by the Justice Commission. And it would be more of a recruitment process where people would be invited to submit their name. They would go through a screening process and look at criteria and ensure that the electoral officer has the capability of performing the duties and responsibilities. You know, it's not just, I guess, a position. It's an appointed position, but it is a job that the electoral officer has to do, and therefore they need to have the capability to do so. As well, they need to be independent. So by having the Justice Commission make that appointment, the electoral officer is independent of everyone else, but has a job to do, so has a terms of reference, and uses the MCK through the executive office simply as support.
Right now, we're in a 30-day review process, so we want people to take a look at the draft law, the draft regulations, and provide their feedback to us. You can obtain a copy on KahnawakeMakingDecisions.com, or if you want and you prefer to call us, we'll have a copy, we'll sit down with you, we'll we'll be in and around the community, hoping to obtain feedback from community members, and we hope to see you on December 19th.